Hey, hi everybody. I hope you guys are doing pretty well. I'm personally doing fine. Today I'm just gonna be talking about my LPN program, like what I've been through. Well, saying what I've been through as if, it was really hard. Well, it was challenging, of course, but it was not like, oh my God, so challenging that right now I can't even understand how I got through it because it was not really this challenging. All right, so let's just get into it. So, for those who don't know, I went to Sheridan Technical College, which is in Sheridan, Florida, Hollywood, and it was pretty great, honestly. So it was about like 12 months or 15 or 12 15 months, somebody quote me on this program, which was subdivided into five sections, where the first section was fundamentals, which is foundation one, where we got a little bit of anatomy. We did a lot of fundamentals like vitals, mobilizing your patients. What else we did? We did a lot of things. I'm just trying to recall things that we did on top of my head right now, but just to get you guys the gist of it, it was like five sections, right? First one was fundamental, foundation one. Second two was foundation two, which was a little bit of med surg, but not really med surg. And then we got like the two med surg, and then we got the OB and peds at last one. Foundation one, we got like your basic stuff in nursing school, like vitals, how to take blood pressure, like manual blood pressure, regular map, how to mobilize the patient, how to, take care of do care for a patient, like postmortem care, bed bath and stuff like that. This is pretty much like the things that we did in foundation one. Foundation two was a little bit different. So we still did that though, but we also did things like pharmacology. So we started like talking about like different kind of medication and side effects, and they also had like a notebook they had us to do, which was said, they will check at the end of the program, which should have been on section five, but they really did not check it on say. So on side note. But one thing that I really wish I did do though is do a notebook for myself. But the way that I would have done it is at the very beginning of nursing school, right? All right, I'm back now. So one thing that I wish I really did do is at the very beginning of nursing school, right? So buy a notebook, and in this notebook, write down every single meds that I encounter, and study the meds exactly when I did encounter them, instead of having or waiting for the specific pharmacology section where you just get a lot of med thrown at you. Because throughout like the whole program, like there is some kind of meds that will be thrown to you, whether or not you're doing this specific section or whether or not you're doing this specific chapters. Like for example, I'll say meds that I generally did not know what it was, but I already knew it was a med, was the Jackson. People were saying like the Jackson, when you have the Jackson, remember if it's not 60, don't give it. Things like this. I was not specifically doing cardio as a section where the Jackson was part of the meds that I have to know, such as the Jackson, Metropolol, and stuff like that. But it was like still a med, like meds what people were throwing around and stuff that, if I did take a time to actually write it down and study it, it would have been way much more easy on myself, because we just ended up having a specific pharmacology section. Everybody in nursing school, honestly, with a bunch of meds throwing at you, and it would have been way much more easier and way much more digestible to study the meds like this. Like, you first start nursing school, right? Just get your notebook where you will write every single meds you encounter every day, and then you go over this notebook every day. You'll do pretty well in your pharmacology section. That I can assure you. Yeah, so that was it for Foundation 1 and Foundation 2. But and Foundation 1 and Foundation 2. But MedSurg 1 was a class that honestly I thought I would have failed. At the very beginning, I really did thought I would have failed, because people were talking about it as if like, oh my God, there's like so much to learn. You got to be really like, into it, really there, putting the work and stuff. And I'm not even gonna lie, I worked throughout nursing school, full-time job, even had to pick up some extra shifts sometimes because I was paying out of pocket and stuff. But one thing that I decided to do after MedSurg 1 was working less and trying to manage my schedule around my school time, so I can try to dedicate as much time as possible. Because I did pass MedSurg 1, I did pass my MedSurg 1 exit, so we also had like in MedSurg 1 exit as well. But I decided like, hey, I could have scored higher and I could have really understand the things I was studying. But the reason why I couldn't actually do that is because I was working a lot. So the working in nursing school is kind of like if you can handle it. I'm not gonna say stop working because at the end of the day, I know everybody got bills, everybody got stuff that you got to do. So if you got to work to make ends meet, or if you got to work to actually make it happen to shake some stuff, just make it happen. I ain't gonna tell like, oh, I have to stop working this stuff because I really don't know what your specific situation might be. So if you gotta do it, you gotta do it, but you gotta be smart about the way you're doing it. So if you're gonna be working like, if you have to work 3 days in a week, like for example, it was me, right? And you go to school 4 days in a week, go to school from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and you work Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So you can kind of have like a little time off on Sunday morning or Sunday evening when you do come back home, so you can do things such as like prep for the new week and review or stuff and other things. But I decided to study every day because that was the only way I found that I could get through this. Study every day, because if I was waiting when I finally had like a half a day off or a day off to study, I'd have been just, it wouldn't work. So I just decided to go to work, study every day, study on my downtime, find a way, some way, somehow to stay awake and study. Because it's just the way it is. It was just one of the things that I was like, hey, I gotta get through this. I gotta do this now, and I'll be happy next year that I do it because, hey, guess what? I'll be done with it. So that was for med surg one. Med surg two was really heavy too, but it was like comfortable kind of heavy because I already have my plan. My plan was working. My study method, I had to change it after a couple tests because I seen that it was not really working. I'm glad I did too. And I ended up, passing with a B on this class, which I'm not really proud of. But the proudest moment that I ever had in nursing school was the last section, which was which was OB and PEDS. I ended up passing OB and PEDS with an A because I dedicate myself to study every day, really understand what it is I was doing. I also started like doing some TikTok on the side, like trying to decorticate or decorticate is French, break down the stuff that I was studying every day on TikTok and do like small little videos, and that's how I ended up getting to the class and really understand what it is I was doing. And the fact that I knew that I had my exit to pass and also other things that I had to pass as well did help because it did kind of give me a little boost or a little motivation that I actually needed, which was, hey, you gotta pass these things, therefore you gotta put more work to them, more work in. What it is you're trying to do right now, what it is you going through right now, so you can go through it and stuff. Which ended up helping me, like I said, at the end. So that was pretty much it. My ride to Sheridan. If there's like some little specification that I do remember and I really want to make a video about, I would probably make a video about it too. If you guys there's any questions you guys might want to ask me, I'll probably like make a specific video and try to fully explain you guys like my thought, like how I went through it, because I know it says that multiple people were talking about like, hey, I'm thinking about going to Sheridan and stuff. So what are your thoughts and stuff like that? So I'll just give you guys my thought on it. But that's pretty much it. So I think I'm gonna log out now, and I'll see you guys probably tomorrow morning on something else. So bye.